All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, what's up? Welcome back to another Relentless recap. As you guys are tuning in, remember our disclaimer, all right? Remember that day trading is risky business. A lot of people out there are having a hard time, so take it slow before putting out a lot of risk. Remember that copy trading does not work here on this channel. It's all about learning a strategy for yourself, a proven successful strategy. It's all about learning one for yourself, whether it's my strategy or whatever is out there that works. Lastly, remember, I do not invest for my subscribers, so be careful with fake accounts, all right? There's a lot of fake accounts, a lot of people pretending to be me. I will never message you first, okay? The full disclaimer is always here on screen for you guys to check out. So, Relentless Trader, where have you been? How have you been doing? These are all great questions. Well, I kind of fell off on the recap grind, if I'll be quite honest here. I took a vacation to Lake Laogai, but now I'm back. Now I'm feeling good. I mean, I've been feeling good, but now I'm back. So, you know, it's not quite the end of the month yet, but I'll share with you guys here my monthly calendar so you can see how it's been going. It hasn't been the best month for me, despite all the hot momentum, right? Here's the look at how the month is looking for the past store. We have 4 red days. We did end red on Friday, $300. Sadly, we had our biggest red day in a long time on the 24th, sizing up on some cheaper stocks. But you know, it's been steady, right? It's always been steady. I'm very grateful that I'm always able to see some sort of gains from the market. But with that being said, you know, it's definitely not the type of month that I would have wanted it to be. For the momentum that we saw, right? Pre-market, especially some crazy stuff right now. We're getting into a little bit of pre-market action. And of course, intraday, we just had some crazy opportunities going back from, I believe, the 7th to the 18th. And then again, even coming into this week. So, you know, we're grateful for the green, but it's definitely not the type of month we would have wanted here, given the momentum. So Relentless, how did today go? How was today? How was the trading session? Which stocks did you trade? So if I pull up my Momo Pro scanner here, and I come on down to the Relentless Momo filter here, Relentless Momo filter. Let's pull this up. You guys will see there's a couple of key stocks like GNLN, GLUE, and in fact some of the ones that EVOK, some of the ones I traded this morning kind of fell down on the list as they sold off, like EVOK and a few others. So my watch list consisted of AMIX, which I'm not even seeing up here as a top stock anymore. I'm guessing it sold off. Let's move this out of the way. So we had AMIX. By the way, shout out to Marcelo for the epic DJT swing there. I was just taking a look at the chart. Insane stuff, and he did call it out here in the chat room. So shout out to Big Mighty. All right. So yeah, AMIX. This one earlier, just insane move pre-market from $7 all the way up to $21. So of course, coming into the open, we had our eyes on this thing. And honestly, I did jump in here pretty early for the opening surge, right? Can the first 1 minute candle here make the new high and then rip over the pre-market levels? I can show you guys that trade here on the archive in a sec. Other than that, I had EVOK, which honestly looked pretty good in pre-market as well. This one going from about 6 to 17. And I mean, you can see pre-market, man, just some crazy moves. And we had also HCTI, and you know, compared to the open and what we had, which is why there's so many people going short on these stocks, it's not a surprise. How often do we get a stock like DRUG, right? How often do we get a stock like Drug versus, you know, and this one went from about $2 here, well, maybe like $1 really, all the way up to 59, and then we continued after a few days up to 79. How many stocks are really doing this throughout the course of a year? Maybe 10 versus the hundreds of stocks like what we've had today, EVOK. And this is why short selling is so popular, is because so much of these stocks, they just come up and then, you know, by the end of the day, down to $6 from 13 area to 6. AMIX from 21 high down to 12. And then by the next few days, 95% chance this is going lower, right? HCTI, another watch list stock. HCTI, how did this one do? So this one started in after hours on Friday, continued into pre-market today, pulled back, ripped up. We had a beautiful move here, going from 96 cents to 190, currently sitting at 128. And maybe this one stands a better chance at continuing, but usually we're back down. TWG, another watch list stock. This one we were looking for the dead cat balance, and this one, the story here is that this never even really started with a gap up, but a gap down from 1250. I mean, the market can be brutal, right? There's risk and there's reward. There's reward and there's risk. And you got to make sure that you understand what you're putting yourself into, which is why, again, we have the disclaimer for those beginner traders, especially people who've been around the block a couple times. They know what it is, but beginner traders, you got to be careful. So let's jump into that first trade that I took up to start the day. It's interesting. Every day is like somewhat similar, but yet different, right? So if we pop this up here to start the day, and we did have some pre-market trades, I believe, but to start the day, AMIX, right? Let's just mute this audio here. So coming into the open, I'm gonna watch this thing here for a potential move to the upside. All right, there's the open. We got about 1140. What was that? Yeah, about 1120 by 1140 in the spreads. Actually, no, excuse me. Over here, right hand side. I'm looking at freaking EVOK. Right hand side, we got 19. Let's go back 10 seconds. So we're about 1913. Okay, so 1910. We pull back to 1880 by 1910. There's a small spread. And right here is where I'm going to essentially decide, okay, I'm going to jump in and let's see how this thing does. Ideally, I'd want to see a pullback, but we didn't really see any signs of like selling here. And is this an aggressive trade? This entry here reminds me of the halt resumptions that we'll sometimes see where the stocks open up higher but don't dip. There is still an entry, but an aggressive one, right? And so you got to choose. If I buy here right now and this thing does decide to flush, then you've literally bought the highest point and then the pullback is coming. So you're going to be selling where you should be buying at the bottom of the flush. But again, if you're aggressive, you're looking to just, hey, I'm going to go for it. So I jumped in here and I'm going to look to take the quick couple of cents for the scalp. I'm in and I'm immediately seeing 1980 on the ask. I'm like, hey, a sweet couple of cents here, and I'm going to take this off and get ready for the pullback. So I'm out and it keeps going. It jumps up to 20. It jumps all the way up to 21 from 19. And this is the strength of the market sometimes, right? From 19 all the way to 21. And this has kind of been a thing that I've been doing, which is, I've still been taking profits a little quick, a little early, a little soon. It's part of why I really haven't dominated this month as much as I could have on some of the other stocks as well. But nevertheless, it's a good trade. And this thing does halt up here at 21. Now, what I will say is that I thought it would have been stronger, especially considering what we had on Friday. This thing resumed and just tanked. It resumed and completely tanked. Let's look at this resumption here. It was choppy. So here we go. We're a sideways resumption. The halt down, ideally I'd be looking for like a dip, but the halt down was so close that it's like, yeah. Now there's a little bit more liquidity between the halt down and where we are now, but the stock is also now up 90 cents versus those lows. So, it's now being reflected on the chart a tick later. At this point, it's already too late for me to be in, because if I'm going to be in, I needed to be in closer down here. But again, the risk was too high to buy, considering we could have halted down. So at this point, I'm like, over 21 potentially could be an entry. But notice the spreads, 2040 by 2090. There's no other way around it than to say this is risky. It's risky business. It's risky, risky area here. The volume isn't super high, and so I'm telling myself, okay, I can watch a break of 21. If we see a little bit of green on the tape, I can maybe jump in. I can bite the bullet for the higher fill. Instead, from about, what was that, like 90 on the ask? Let's look at that one more time. I'm going to try to pause it. Sideways resumption, comes down, it does bounce, and we had, yeah, about 87 by 88. It literally would, what would seem like there's no buyers, actually, hold on. It's sub 21, not sub 20. Hold up. Here we go, right here. Yeah. So 40 by 90, and I'm thinking, okay, if we see some strength, I could jump in and try to get in for 21 or over 21 and ride the wave to 23. But look at what happens here. There's a little bit of green on the tape. It comes down, the bid price drops, the ask price drops. The moment it gets back to 90, it's like right away, 2133 by 2150. Right here in this moment, if this was going to 23, I told myself, well, crap, I'd have to chase it right here into this big seller. 10,000 shares, 2150. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And it turned out to be the right move because immediately I would have been down. I would have gotten filled on the ask. We don't need to guess, right? I would have been in at 2149 and there's 2040 on the bids. And, it would have been a losing trade. I would have sold somewhere in the spreads, probably getting filled at like 2050 for a dollar share loss. And I started the day here down 1K. So that was AMIX. After this, I didn't really it got halted again. I did take a dip out of the resumption, but from here I left it alone. And I started watching HCTI, which we did have some nice trades. I'm a little disappointed because there was an area on the live stream here where I told myself, I'm going to add it. I'm going to add it, right? So let's see. I'm in at 30. There's a small bid here. And I'm like, if we get over the resistance at 36, I'm going to add. And it's going to come up right here. Right here, 35. Right here. Right there, I needed to hit the buy button again. And this trade would have been so much better because I would have had 37 add. It rips to 40. Right here, I would have been selling the same half like I just did. And I would have now have a 37 average with 5,500 shares. And boom, selling the rest right there into the halt out. So that could have been an additional, what was that, 12 cents? Or no, not 12. 10 cents? 10 cents, 37 to 9. 10, yeah, about 10, 11, 12 cents. So could have been another $500-600 added to the P&L here. After this, though, this HCTI, we didn't really get a dip on this resumption. Like if we look at this trade here, so from 49, if we look at this trade, this is one of those entries where you would have had to be an ultra aggressive. So 49 resumes with 56, and then it just kind of goes. It just kind of goes. It's hard to just buy 54, 55, 56 when it's just straight up, Let me see, where was the halt down relative to that push? When I look back at stuff like this, could I have done better? I mean, I don't know. I don't think I could have been that much more aggressive here. The halt down's at 36, but if I buy 55, 58, if we do see that pullback, I'm probably stopping out at like 42 and 43, 44, something like that. Just kind of guessing what, but I don't know. It could have dipped anywhere, and it's like it's just not worth the risk there. So I didn't chase it, didn't jump in aggressively. The other stock, so let's see, EVOK. We took a massive loss on this resumption. I mean, just a little disappointing here. We're down 118, and I tried to be aggressive here, So this thing resumes at 11. I buy the dip in the spreads here around 50. And let me see if maybe I could have avoided this loss. Like, when I bought is when it like started to drop again. So I kind of just got caught, like, out to dry. So here's the dip. And yeah, okay, hold up. Let me watch this again. Because in the moment, I thought it paused a little bit. Let's just see. Was the pastor too aggressive here? Oh, this one is a little close, but fair trades. I think fair trades. I know the risk. I'm long at 50, and it's just collapsing. So right here, I'm like, oh, gotta get out, gotta get out, gotta get out. I'm out, and I was close to buying back here. I'm like, is this the actual dip? And this thing might just rip right back up to 1150. But then it's like we're not getting back above 20, and I'm like, maybe I leave it alone, and that was the right call. It does halt down. We did make some money on the resumption lower on the bounce. Just a little bit. We got up to like 1K on this HCTI, I believe, at some point. But we kind of like flirted around $800 gains. Where did I see it? I saw it here. Ideally, if you're watching at this stock as your main stock, either the double bottom or the 1 minute candle to make the new high, break of one. I saw it here. It was a little slower, but it was also watching other stocks, right? GNLN, the stock that I made money on and gave back. So I pulled it up here. It was kind of already going a little crazy. Someone mentioned it right here, like at like 290. But I'm still looking at AMIX, I believe. So I finally pull this thing up. I get involved, and we do all right. There's a pullback here. How did we do on this pull? I think we did well on this first pullback. Like we're in 1500 to 22. It's a nice trade back up. We did all right initially. So we're up 1K on this stock. But then we give back profits. And, the backside, right? The backside, the pullback, I gotta really be careful of here. And a lot of the times for me, it's like paper cuts. Like I'll take $100 loss, $100 loss, and then sometimes I'll end up losing like 300-400 in one trade. And right here, we had the hype of 410. I'm trying to watch for the 1 minute pullback to see if we can continue similar to what we had down here or right here. This is a pretty awesome move up. Can we hold the $50 area? I think I'm going to re-average lower. I'm going to cut this right here, if I remember correctly. Or did I take a loss? I can't. Let's see. I think I sold this one break even, and I got back in lower. $56, $59, $64. Maybe we skip ahead 30 seconds. Okay, so yeah, I basically like sold right here in the spreads, and then I bought back because it wasn't bouncing here. And what I maybe needed to do was to give it more room to bounce. So I sold in the spread right here, probably 52 exit, right? But anyhow, maybe I would have maybe I got a decent fill coming out. But what I'm thinking is, we can probably hold up at the $50. And I'm not watching VWAP as closely because of how high up the move was relative to where we are in a pullback. So I'm thinking like VWAP might be too low for the dip. And I end up buying back at like 50 right here. And I guess this is one of those situations where I have to keep my stop a little tighter because this thing is going to come down to VWAP at like 30. So maybe right here, there's one of two things, right? I think either I need to keep the stop tighter, or I'm taking a starter position here instead of 2K, maybe just 500. But as it's coming down like this, I'm adding into the move and just accumulating in a wider area. By the time I'm done accumulating, my average probably comes to like 39. Which if we skip ahead, the low ended up being like 33. And then I think it curled up. From 33, we got 54. Did we get back to like 80 here? Let's see. Did I get back in? Okay, I'm going to try again at 18. Let's skip ahead. And it looks like I should have held that trade a little longer. But again, it's even pulling back here below VWAP. But all the signs on the 5-minute chart is telling me that the stock should curl. But it's like I kind of exhaust myself trying to get the lows. And it ended up pulling back to a low of $3 before finally curling up. So from 410 to $3, you know, I guess the move, if you're to really put the entire move into perspective, which we did have red candles through and through, but you know, from 410 to 318, I'm thinking, okay, that looks pretty good for the consolidation, and then the move up, it's all the way down to $3. So, you know, despite sizing down and trying to get the pullback trades, I'm giving back money. Another thing I could do is just stop trading this part of the stocks. Like if I show up and this front side move is done, that's it. Or if I get something in the front side move, can you make good money here? The answer is yes, but you have to be super accurate to get these essentially bottoms of the consolidation. And the indicators that I use have not been working as well as they used to before. But this thing curled up, nicely all the way from 3 to 350, and then to, what was the high? Was it 350? So we got like 370 almost right there. Was that it? 386, right? All the way to 386. This is the beautiful trade. Granted, it did give a big pullback right here, but this is the beautiful trade that we were fishing for the entire time and just couldn't get, the accuracy. So we made back some money, but again, green 1K to flat to up 600 again. We gotta, I think, just maybe leave that backside alone. Keep that 1K even if we drop down to like 800, and then we add back another 6, 7 on the way up. That way we're ending on the stock 15, 16, 17, maybe 2K, rather than giving back on the backside. And again, it's like this seesaw, green, red, step forward, step back, until we ended just up $280 total, right? And part of this was me trying for the breakout here too. But yeah. So, I mean, that was basically the day. I mean, there was quite a few stocks. As you guys can see, like a decent amount of cash did pass through my account. Green 700 HCTI very quickly. We were red, the resumption here, 800, which honestly, I just, we know what it is with these trades, but I wasn't really thinking about a loss. And honestly, I was thinking I was going to dominate that trade, but it ended up being a loss, whatever. AMIX, green 370. We ended, 255. That's fine. And then giving back on GNLN wasn't good. But that was the day for me, and I felt like, okay, there was a little too much resistance. I wasn't able to properly capitalize. My accuracy not where I wanted it to be, and so I ended up ending the day there. So what I'll do, I'll upload to TraderView, and then I'll show you guys how everything is looking. Well, you know what? I'll upload for tomorrow's recap. I'm signed out of Thinkorswim, so I'm not gonna log back in. It's all good. But again, this is where we are. So $600 day today. Friday we were red 350. So that puts us up on the month, maybe just over 11K here gross. So decent month. Looking forward to tomorrow, right, as usual. Looking forward to tomorrow. It's been a great year to this point. We're definitely looking to end off the year on the stronger side of things. And, we'll see how it goes, right? It's been a solid year. We're averaging just over 1K a day. It's pretty insane stuff. It's life-changing stuff. And the goal is to continue to work, continue to grind, and continue to improve. Really and truly, that's it. So stay safe, stay green. It's been Relentless Trader, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hit that thumbs up on the way out, subscribe to the channel. Check me out tomorrow on the live stream. Pre-market trading going down at like 8:50 a.m., 8:40 a.m. market time. All right. Stay safe, stay green. It's been the best in the business. Your fearless leader is back with the recaps. Let's get it. Let's get to this money. Let's get to these trades. Let's get to this discipline. Stay safe, stay green.